Hi everyone, as Shrap mentioned, so I will quickly reintroduce myself. My name is Nav. I'm from Montreal, Canada, and I'm working as an engineer at Manulife. And I speak at different conferences, and also I'm a mentor and one of the organizers for the GDG Montreal chapter, where we organize monthly meetups. So in today's talk, as you might already have a little bit understanding like what we're going to talk about, it's a very light talk. So recently I have it's a kind of a real world experience from my work. So it's about the specific region specific resources and how configurations broke the localization spot for one of the applications. So I will basically share my real world experience with this talk, and I hope it helps you to take care of your projects. Like if you have same situations in future, or if you're already having some sort of already these sort of implementations in your application. So the problem is, so right now currently we have like an application which supports French as well as English. So as you can see on the screenshot, this is the French version and this is the English version of the message. So this is basically the, as you see that the E, it has an accent in French, and English one is like just without any accent. And our client application, that's really important note here. So our client application is exposed to this UI from another library. So we have like a library and we are consuming it in our application that gives us this sort of UI components. So this is the string resources file from the library. So once we figure out or we found a bug that there is a like a issue in that particular component, when application is in French, it doesn't show up the proper accent on that E character. So we started investigating and trying to figure out like what's missing there, right? So this is the configuration for the library. The library is like in-house library, so it's easy to actually to check the code. Sometimes it's hard if we don't have access to the code base of the for the application or the library. So as you can see here, there are two files, like one which is the default one, which hosts all the resources related to the English language, and the second one is the for the French. But if you see here, it's like region specific. So one of the developers who worked on this library, he put the French resources specifically under a Canadian region. So that's why you see in the even in the studio's project structure options, like in the brackets, it says it's just not saying like just FR, which is for French without any resource cap on it. So it's now in this case it says like FR-RCA, which is for Canada. And this is the string resources files that we have in our client application. So as you can see here, we are not targeting any specific region. So as I described, we have first like a normal string file and then the string file for a French localization of the French resources. And we are not capping any sort of, we are not targeting any specific region for French. And then this is the configuration that we have in our client application side. So resource configurations dot add all, and we pass the list of the resource configs that we want our applications to support. So in this case, we only add English and French, and here French is without any region specific. So what this configuration actually do behind the scenes for us? So before we don't have it, and I like sometime like a couple of months ago, like we added this configuration, and this is basically the details from the developer's documentation about that particular configuration. So it basically helps you to shrink the resources from your application, and it basically ultimately leads to have like a small APK sizes for your application, because then in this case, we only define that, hey, we only want to support English and French. And then if you are adding third party libraries or any SDKs that brings like, or they have like a support for different localization or multiple localization instead of English and French, all those resources, they will come to your application. And it will basically, like, if you don't need, you can shrink your resources and you can add on the configuration that you only want only these two specific configurations. So we did that. And if you want to learn more about the unused resources, you can check the link here in the slides, or you can just search about Gradle resource shrinker. So we have that configuration. And as I mentioned, these are our files because we already defined in our also in our configuration. So this is basically if you are writing Groovy or writing your scripts using Kotlin, it's a different way to define this. So I hope that helps you to understand like where is the problem. So as I already show you, like the library side, they have resources like the French resources under the RCA region, which is for Canada, right? So, but in our client side, we have configuration in our Gradle file that we only want English and French, and we didn't added any sort of region specific cap on the French configuration or French resources. So, like, to check the build config, it doesn't came in my mind like as a first cause of this issue. So first what I did is like I checked the string files to see the keys, like if we are overriding those keys in our client side. But I didn't find anything there. Like there is no, we are not overriding anything. This is like details. It's like the library side string value, we don't override it. So next I tried different things, like tried different emulators. Maybe it's like an emulator rated bug or any specific API causing this issue. So, but the issue was like basically this configuration that I showed you earlier. So how we can fix this solution? So fix this issue is like we have two options, I can say. The first one is like updating the configuration file in our client side. So if you are like in hurry and it's like a showstopper for your release and you immediately want to fix this is like one of the easiest solution, I can say. Like you can just update your resource configuration and add the fr-rca so that it will your Gradle resource shrinker, it will not shrink the resources specifically for French for Canadian region. So in this case, it will automatically be like fixed. Just you just need to update this, and you are good to go. And the second option is like update the library. So as I mentioned earlier, like in our case, the library, it's like an in-house product or in-house. We have developed the library just for consumer for common UI stuff. So if you have access to the library and you know that you only supporting particular resources or particular languages in your application, then the solution I can say is to like moving your FRRCL file or the resources to the default one, which is like without any region, just like a normal French resources, and then just build that new version of your library, and then like make it available for your client applications, and then you can go from there. So yeah, this was the quick overview of my this little talk. So I hope you learned something, and yeah, it was really fun for me to fix this issue. So that's why I was like feel I should share this with the community. So I hope you learned something new, and if you want to connect me, feel free to scan this QR code. It's for my LinkedIn, but we already shared our other social handles. So yeah, thanks for your time, and I hope you learned something.
All right. Thank you, Nav Singh, for presentation. Uh, I I think it was really entertaining and informative. But I just want to ask you personally. It'll be a problem when we're using with localization problems. I mean, you're a Canada-based developer, so you must be working with both two languages at the same time. So Um, I'm using a language that has own characters. The how can I say uh,
Mm-hmm.
word, and in German it is with umlaut. There are some words with umlaut, and it's ö, oder it's Weitsetz. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's a Preußler. No, the it's a B but two S.
Okay.
So how can we make it possible to overcome the broken localization if we are trying to improve our application using Unicode? Will it be a solution, or should we do something else?
Yeah, I think you already provided a little answer in your question is the Unicodes, right? So I think that's the one of the options that we can go with, right? But I don't have any specific like a tool in my mind, but I attended, I think last before last year, New York DroidCon, and there was like localize, or they named some tool like that, and it was some developers or some, I think one of the speakers, they had a talk on that. So they use that for managing localization for their application. But I guess if you are like in our case, we are having French and English, so we are just managing locally, and we add basically, but as a developers, because most of the time the copy or like the final copy is not available when we started working on something. So we do whatever is available, and we add but we add for both, but with the like a to do or just something like that, to make sure that at the end we have final copy when we ship that feature.
Alrighty then. Thank you for your kindly answer.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
shall we wait for the questions, or do we have time? Well, I think we don't have much time for the questions, but if there are any questions for Now Sync, you can definitely use the comment section for your questions. Um, Rather than that, I think that'll be all. So
Yeah,
thank you once again.
yeah, thank you.